As the saying goes, necessity is the mother of invention, and history has shown that periods of significant upheaval and stress inspire reinvention to overcome constraints, overthrow old assumptions, and achieve new goals. Some of the biggest companies in the world today were creating during the aftermath of the financial crisis in 2008. And I'm talking about companies such as Instagram, WhatsApp, Uber, Airbnb. They're all created by ambitious entrepreneurs who were driven by crisis. 2020 has certainly not been like any other year. The shock which was unleashed to our daily lives by the COVID-19 pandemic changed the world before our eyes and forever. Organizations, businesses, and even healthcare systems or teaching institutions, they scrambled to adjust, to overcome challenges and to innovate new capabilities, new products, new services, and they had to do it in a matter of weeks or days even, rather than months or years, which would normally take for an innovation to take place. So for example, retailers and cafes, they launched gift and subscription services. Whiskey and gin distilleries became hand sanitizer and ventilator factories, and the lockdown saw many organizations across sectors suddenly embracing digital data and analytics functionalities in the way that really hasn't happened before. And some of these innovations will probably be temporary. They will not stick around for a long term, but some will, and new habits will settle, and old behaviors in certain domains are never going to come back. According to the recent McKinsey report, however, only few business owners feel equipped to pursue the innovation opportunity posed by COVID-19 crisis. 90% of them believe that the crisis will fundamentally change the way we do business over the next 5 years. 85% are concerned that the COVID-19 crisis will have a lasting impact on the customers' needs and wants over the next 5 years, which will pose a huge challenge to the way they operate. Only 21% of them have the expertise, resources, and commitment to pursue new growth successfully. 2/3 believe that this will be the most challenging moment in their executive career. However, more than 3/4 also agreed that the crisis will have significant new opportunities for growth, although this will of course vary significantly depending on the industry or the service offered. And of course, seeing the opportunities emerging from this crisis is not the same as being able to seize them and leverage them. Fewer than 30% of the executives questioned will feel confident that they are prepared to address the changes they see coming. The area in which they feel the most challenged is delivering new growth opportunities. Many businesses simply cannot operate as they have in the past because what made company successful historically may no longer be possible during or after the crisis. Customers may struggle to pay, distribution channels may have radically shifted to accommodate for new needs and to work around new constraints. So there are many challenges ahead. And currently, many companies are actually deprioritizing innovation as they feel that shoring up the core business or pursuing new known opportunity spaces or conserving cash and minimizing risk and expenditure or waiting until there is more clarity or it all goes away, they feel that these elements are far more important and that they should prioritize the use of their resources to those domains. However, in past crises, companies that invested in innovation during the crisis delivered superior growth and performance post-crisis. For instance, organizations that maintained their innovation focus throughout 2009 financial crisis emerged stronger, outperforming the market average by more than 30% and continuing to deliver accelerated growth over the subsequent 3 to 5 years. So you just have to innovate when you feel like you shouldn't. And I believe that particularly in times of crisis, more urgent actions need to be taken in terms of innovation. So, for example, you can adapt the core of your business to meet shifting customer needs. You may identify and address new opportunities which are being created by the challenging landscape, and I mean market opportunities. You can reevaluate the innovation portfolio and ensure resources are allocated appropriately. You can also build the foundation for post-crisis growth in order to remain competitive in the recovery period. In other words, you can change your sales models, and 96% of businesses have changed their go-to market model since the pandemic hit, with the majority turning to multiple forms of digital engagement with customers, for example. You can also come up with a new offering. Old distributors that traditionally supplied restaurants are now setting up digital direct-to-customer channel as the crisis decimated the restaurant sales. There is hardly any demand in that sector. Similarly, the entertainment industry is generating new content such as replays, the best of, or retrospectives to fill the void in programming to keep on going. Even museums are creating and streaming digital content to enable people to enjoy their offerings from home. You can also leverage rapid changes in customer behavior. The best example of this is Zoom. With its simple setup and almost viral connectivity, it has become the Kleenex of the video conference world. Practically overnight, the world just turned to Zooming for myriad of purposes, including arts, religion, fitness, social connections with colleagues, friends, and family. I don't have to add much more because we all do it. We are all on Zoom right now. Then you can even change an industry if it's possible. A good example is medical device industry, which noticed previously unimagined new entrants from companies such as home appliance manufacturers and automakers, because regulations have relaxed to meet critical needs. So now we're seeing General Motors and Dyson, who suddenly became ventilator manufacturers, which is really unheard of. And of course, there are companies who just happened to be in the right place at the right time with no or very little innovation. They managed to increase their sales, and they just simply increased because of the natural demand for the services or products. And I'd like to give you some examples of such companies, because they basically benefited from the fact that their customers were in lockdown or that unessential shops and facilities closed. First example is Stitch & Story, which is an online crafts firm, hiring 11 people. They sell materials and provide tutorials for people who want to learn how to knit and crochet. Business started 7 years ago, and they were supposed to just inspire a new generation of millennials to learn knitting and crocheting skills. And right now, with so many people on lockdown, the interest has soared. The company reported 800% increase in March 2020 alone. So the company reported 800% increase in sales in March alone compared to the previous year. Tone and Sculpt application is another good example. It was set up by fitness entrepreneur Krissy Cela, who launched her app-based workout and nutrition guide as a subscription service in January 2019. Now, of course, going to a gym is not possible, so her app and her business is reaching new levels of popularity. They've seen growth of about 88% in downloads during April 2020 compared to the previous year, which is a huge increase. Another example I would like to give here is Laithwaite's Wine, which is a family-run wine delivery business. The company says it has seen a big rise in sales of Prosecco, about 117% year on year during April. And, well, it's not surprising to some of you, but the company noticed that smaller half bottle and quarter bottle sizes were more popular. Apparently, people who are meeting on Zoom, having a glass of wine or Prosecco, in that case, with friends, they preferred smaller formats. They thought that they were more sociable. And also, consumers are avoiding supermarkets and opting in for home delivery option. So Laithwaite's wine has seen 300% rise in new customers year on year in the month of March and April 2020. Another good example is Netflix. I don't have to explain what they do, and I don't have to explain why their sales surged, but almost 16 million people created accounts in the first 3 months of the year of 2020, which is, quite a number. And the last example I would like to give you is Boohoo, or Booho, not quite sure how to pronounce that. Nevertheless, it's a delivery fashion business which managed to find a way to adapt to the new normal while their competition was really going under. With people not venturing much outside the front doors anymore, they noticed that consumers needed to buy homeware, hoodies, joggers, tracksuit bottoms, and this is what they were supplying. As a result, the company has seen a year-on-year rise in sales during April and May, at the time when the competition have reported a huge collapse in demand. So to sum up, it goes without saying that organizations need to realize that innovation, now more than ever, is not a choice, it's a must. Some of the old ways of selling and working will not have much value in the new normal. Once businesses have identified the most valuable and relevant problems for the customers to solve, they can then change, adjust, and come up with a solution to meet their needs. Innovation will continue to be critical in navigating through and emerging even stronger on the other side of the crisis. So instead of saving resources and spending in on what you know, or preserving resources and trying to get through the crisis, wait for the better new normal, innovate now and save your business. That's my message to you today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a good evening.